Us. Us. Konbanwa. Genki desu ka? Us. I hope you are Genki desu. Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday. I think it's the 16th of February, I guess. Welcome to Karate in Your Own Dojo, and welcome to my dojo. Kitchen, as I'd like to call it. So yeah, welcome. Had a bit of a hair trim. Got the wifey to do that for me this afternoon. I think she's done a pretty good job. At least I can see what I'm doing now, which is good because I couldn't earlier. So thank you very much, Debbie. Today's lesson we're going to work on Geri, or Kerry, as it's sometimes referred to. So kicks or kick. Okay. So we're going to be working with the legs this evening. So we're going to do a warm up in particular to stretch the legs, and that's going to be our focus this evening. Doing Geri and Kerry. So that's the plan for this evening. I'm just going to re-angle the camera ever so slightly so that we can hopefully get more of the dojo in. Yeah, I think that will do. Okay, you can see the dogs. She's just watching this evening. So Holly Sun, our mascot, is just watching. Yeah, so the plan this evening is to work on the legs. Because we've not done that for some time actually, and probably because I had a bad back, so that's recovered quite well. So we're going to do some kicks this evening, and we're going to concentrate on our Kion kicks, so the ones that are part of our syllabus, and maybe as the evening progresses, possibly even again including Thursday, we're then going to use the combinations that we use within our organisation, Asahi, Shotokan, and obviously Sky England. So that's what we're going to be working on this evening. So, and actually Thursday we might do some more advanced kicks. I'm thinking about that. See how this evening goes, see how time goes, because I never know with these things how it's going to plan out. But we'll take our time. What I want to focus on this evening is the body position, the kick itself, where the target area is, and important thing to know is your own ability and how you perform the kick. So not just me, because we all kick in different ways. So what we'll do, say hello and good evening to the people that have joined us live, which is great, as per normal. Thank you for doing that, because then I know at least I'm not on my own. And what we'll do is we'll do a quick warm-up, stretching the legs, get ourselves ready, and then get into the lesson itself. Just a quick message from me to say thank you so much to everybody who joined us on Zoom on Saturday for the Kangeku. It was lovely. It was absolutely wicked to see everybody, particularly the juniors, to see you be part of that fantastic morning. So we had over 40 of us actually, which is really good considering we have normally over 100 in the dojo itself. I think 40 online is pretty good. And then we had a chat afterwards and had breakfast, which I thought was also good. So thank you so much for those people that were able to join us. Those that you couldn't join us, don't worry, you'll be back next year, hopefully corona-free, and hopefully we'll be back in the dojo as normal. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put the Zoom session up on YouTube at this moment in time, because it has our juniors on it, and I need to seek permission from parents for that sort of thing. So I will let you know, or I can cut those bits out, and then I can probably put just the lesson back on YouTube, because the lesson was quite fun, I think. I enjoyed doing it, enjoyed teaching it as per normal. So there we go. So what we're going to do this evening, say a quick hello to a few people, give them a wave, and then we will start the lesson as quickly as possible. Right, us. So just very good evening, Andy Sensei. Good evening, older Andy Sensei. Good evening, Dexter. Hope you're well, Dexter. Good evening, Tim Sensei. Good evening, Sharon Sensei. It's all the senseis this evening. Good evening, Christian. Zach says, nice haircut. Thanks, Zach. I'll tell my wife, because she'll like that. She's done a good job. Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Lucy. Hope you're both well. And good evening, Ken. Good evening, Ken Sensei. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so there's a few people joining us. Remember, if you want to comment, you can, but you'll need a phone or an iPad to be able to do so. Just quickly, this is not a promotion, but I've been buying this for 25, 27 years. I kind of dropped out for a couple of years, but I've been buying it for a long time. Shotokan Karate magazine is the only Shotokan Karate magazine. It's out 4 times a year. It's not expensive, it's about £18 a year, but it's a really interesting read, particularly if you like me and like old school stuff, and the traditional karate that is performed across the world, which I'm very interested in. So it's excellent. A really, really good magazine for those of you that are really into karate the same as me, and not just doing it for fun, but you want to know more about it, different people, different senseis, different thought processes, different ideas, which is what karate is all about. Good evening, Carl Sensei. Hope you're well. Okay, right, so tonight's lesson all about Geri, okay, kicking. So we're going to do a warm-up that is more working on these bits because that's what we're going to be using, and making sure that our backs are nice and relaxed, and so we can not cause any injuries or have any injuries going whilst we do the lesson. Okay, hey, and just relax. Okay, so just arms forward just to get the blood flowing in the body. Okay, and backwards. Okay, one arm forward, one arm back. And change. Okay, stretching. Okay, good. Take your right arm crossed. So my intention this evening is to try and get 4 kicks done. Okay, 4 of our Kion kicks done, if I can. Okay, and they're probably the 4 most popular ones we use within our basic training. Okay, but there are many kicks, many kicks that you can do over the time that you do karate. And if you're like me, a bit of a kicker, then they're good fun. But if you're older, they come with a health warning. Okay, ubis, tekubi, 1, relax. Hijiate, our MP, relax. Relax. Okay, now shake your legs. Shake your legs. Let the foot go. Okay, so same as the wrist, let the foot go. Okay, you have to really lose control of the body to be able to do that. Okay, sometimes you tense too much. So just let it relax. Not this is forced movement. Just let it flop. Yeah, I'm going to turn into jelly. So learn how to disconnect. Okay, disconnect different parts of your body. Okay, right. Zenko Tadachi, front stance. Okay, whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to change the camera angle because it is way too high. And let's see if we can get that better. You can now see massive amounts of keyboard, I know. This is not so good. So let's change things ever so slightly. Okay. Better, I think. Oops. Maybe not straight, but slightly better. Hey, boss. Yeah, sorry about that. It's just that I was looking at a very weird angle. I may still be at a very weird angle, but it wasn't very good. Okay, so Zenko Tadachi front stance. I'd say the only issues with YouTube Live is you can't set the studio up beforehand and see it clearly, whereas you could on Facebook. It's a little bit more difficult, a bit more challenging to set up. But once it's there, it's good. Okay, when you're doing Zenko Tadachi, don't think of the stance, think of the stretch. Okay, so your hamstring down here, the big muscle group at the back of the legs, and your gastrocnemius. Okay, this is your calf muscle. There we should be stretching, and you should be flexing the ankle. Okay, back to the front, give it a bit more of a stretch. And change legs again. Us. Good evening, Champions Karate Academy. Sikalot, where are you from? Where are you from? Okay, change legs again, stretching. So really feel the stretch coming out the back of the leg here. Okay, so hips at Shoman. Okay, so you understand this concept here. Shoman and Hammy. Okay, Shoman, Hammy, Shoman, Hammy. Shoman, Hammy, Shoman, Hammy. Change legs. Okay, again. So Shoman, Hammy, Shoman, Hammy, Shoman, Hammy, Shoman. So you're going to need to be able to keep this area articulate. Okay, this point here in Japanese called your jiku. Akita Sensei explains it as axis, your axis point. Okay, where we rotate. So it's really important that you understand this, particularly for a kick that we're doing later on. Okay, so right leg up, Okay, hold your leg, keep it nice and tight into the body. Okay. Then stretch your leg out. And just hold, come back. Hey, and bring it back down. Try to keep your form, okay, so you keep your body upright, just that your hips drop down. Knee up, keep your balance. Bring your knee in. Okay, and stretch. And back, control, and back down. So all of your baransu, your balance, okay, works from your hips. Your hips are tilted. Your baransu, your balance is going to be tilted. If your hips are tilted, your shoulders generally go the same way. So you have to try to keep an eye on your pelvic area, your hara, okay, in Japanese. Keep it this area, keeping it nice and central, okay? So this is your center of gravity. This is where you want it to be down, particularly for kicking. Remember, this is a big limb, okay? This is big, the whole thing. The foot, the ankle, the leg, the knee, everything weighs a great deal, okay? And we're asking it to be away from our body. And if we're doing that, okay, then we're asking the rest of our body to try to accommodate, okay, and hold our balance. So what we must try to focus on is keep the kick as tight to the body as much as possible, okay? So when we start a lesson, that's what we'll be focusing on, is where we start from, the kicking position, okay? Similar to the hand on the hip for the punches. Okay, hands down on the floor, stretching back, make sure you can feel the stretch, again, your gastrocnemius and your hamstring. Okay, head to your left side, and over to the right. Give the dog stroke. Back to center, left arm up. Change, right arm up. Change, left arm up. Change, right arm up. Okay, if you can, sit on your bottom, feet apart, like so. Okay, your toes, curl your toes forwards. Now bring your foot back. Now push your toes forwards. Okay, push your ball of your foot forwards, but your toes back. So you can see from this angle, this is vertical, this is toes down, and this is toes 45. When we kick Geri, our first kick this evening, not like this, not like this, but like this. Ball of the foot. Ball of the foot. Okay, very good. Okay, just relax your pelvis, relax your hips. Okay, feet together, grab your toes and pull back. Feet in together, okay, and pushing down. And just relax. Whenever you're stretching, just push down and hold. Don't keep pushing, just hold, hold, hold. Then you can push again. And relax. Take your right leg over your left leg. Take your left elbow to your right knee and twist behind. And change legs. Put your left leg over your right leg. Take your right elbow to your left knee. Twist the other way. Okay. Bring the feet in together. Keep the knees together. Tight. And relax. Up you get. Straight again, Obi. Kiosuke. I'm ready to bow. Shomuri, ready? Tensei, ready? Us. Okay, so Shomuri Rei means to the front we bow, okay? Usually within a nice Japanese dojo, if you're in Japan, you'll have the shintai kind of thing at the back of the dojo. The word escapes me, begins with K. It will come to me. and maybe a picture of Sensei Nakayama or Gishin Funakoshi Sensei. We have the Dojo-kun in our dojo. So this is at the front of our dojo every week, and we transport that to and from our dojos. Then Sensei Nirei, which means teacher we bow. Okay, so whoever the sensei is that's teaching you, it's important that you bow to them as much as they bow back to you. Okay, it's a two-way thing. Bowing is really important to us. Okay, great. Hey, Roy. Okay, just to warm up the legs. Okay, so just shaking. Okay, Zenkutsudachi, and just swinging the leg. Ich, ni, san, shi, eigo. And change legs. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Hey, good, very good. Just shake the legs. Okay, so great. So first kick then, Geri, snap kick, okay? So Geri Kiyagi should be the right thing. So Mai means front, okay? Geri, kick, and snap is Kiyagi. So we're going to learn to kick correctly. Now, when we first start karate, I think most people think that karate kicks are like football kicks, okay, where we swing the leg. This is, as we all know, doing karate, this is not the case. What we're looking for is a kick that comes up, tights the body, and then pops out, okay, and much more of a snap motion. So we're going to focus on a couple of things this evening, and that is one is our balance, okay, working on this core area, so we don't tilt backwards, or forwards, or indeed sideways. Okay, so we're going to try to keep the knee as close to the body and kick as close to the body as possible. And the idea of that is to keep control. As soon as we do this, okay, we are asking our body to fight. And can you see I'm slightly tilting, not too much. Okay, but I'm really starting to tilt because my knee is out. What I want to do is let my hips drop down. Okay, the knee comes much closer to the body and has more control. And that's what we're trying to do, is gain control of this leg. The leg is a big limb, okay? It's really big and it's really heavy. To use it correctly, you have to learn how to control it properly and then release it as and when you wish to kick, okay? If you don't have that control, your balance is going to be all off the show, okay? Possible then for injuries, possible then for loss of balance, falling over and not looking too good, okay? So bring the knee, just let your hips drop, okay? Don't bend your knees. Just let your hips drop and let the body drop, okay? So take the weight out of the knee. So not straight, just here. Just let the hips go, let the knees go. This is natural, okay? It's a natural stance, natural position. So whether you're in Shizentai, Hachidachi, makes no difference, just let it go down. So we're going to high Sukudachi. Okay, and we're doing this the hard way, first of all, and I think the reason I want that is I want you to understand the concept of keeping it close to the body and the tightness that you need to have here, this part of the body here, but also when you contract your leg muscles. So your knee doesn't come out here, your knee doesn't go there, your knee needs to stay to you. So bring your knee up, okay, and keep your kicking foot tight to the body, so not away. Keep it in, bring it higher and higher, but keep it closer. Sink your hips down, bring it higher. Sink your hips down, bring it higher, and then down. Okay, so other leg, so this time left side. I'm going to change just to give you a different angle, different view. Okay, so not this. Try to keep it tight to the body. Drop your hips. Bring it higher, higher, higher. Okay, more control. Less wobble. I'm not going to say no wobble. I'm going to say less wobble. More difficult to hold balance. So the reason we just let this whole thing just relax, sink down, keep this tight into the body, is to have more control. Okay, that's really, really important. Okay, so that's the first position that we need to focus on, is getting the knee into the correct position. So the knee, center of the body. here. Okay, and when we kick in with the ball of the foot. The ball of the foot. Bus. I know that's not a very good picture, but not your tips, your toes. These are your sumisakis. You don't want to be kicking with those. Kicking with the ball of the foot. Okay. You can do a different kick, a different maigeri with the heel of the foot, with kakato, but we're not doing that at the moment. I'll show you later. Don't train with that very often now. I'll tell you why as well. So, maigeri kiagi, knee comes up. Try to keep, imagine kicking your bottom. Can you do that? Can you kick your bottom with your heel? So just the base of your glutimus maximus here. I thought he was a famous Caesar, but obviously not. So from here, okay, keeping it tight into the body. Of course. So once you've done that, we're then going to learn how to kick. So kicking itself, knee comes up, foot snap. Okay, and you want the lower leg from the knee here to snap. And that's where the kiagi part of the kick, or the terminology, comes from. So we often say maigeri. Maigeri is, I think, traditionally by nature a snap kick, but it doesn't have to be, as I said earlier. So we can do maigeri kikomi, which is, or maikikomi kiagi, whatever kiagi or kikomi are two different kicks. So kiagi snap, kikomi is thrust. Okay. So when we use kiagi in maigeri, we mean ball of the foot. Okay, and this is called koshi, this part here, and that's what you're kicking with. Okay, if you're doing maigeri kikomi, kicking with the heel of the foot, kakato. Okay, now we don't train that very often nowadays, and the reason being is that this particular kick with the heel, okay, is a thrust kick, and it means locking your knee joint, which somebody who's had 3 knee surgeries, I can tell you now, it's not a good kick to train. Okay, it's good if you hit something. So if you're kicking and hitting something, then fantastic. But if you're kicking fresh air, then locking your knee joint out like so is not good. Okay, so it's not a kick that we practice so often nowadays, but is one that we need to have in the back of our heads as a technique that we could use should we ever have to. So here, kikomi geri. Okay, here, snapping, maigeri. So when you're kicking, try to make sure you're kicking to the front, okay? Now, difficult here because I've got the camera at one point now and I've got the screen on another bit. So I've got to remember to look at the camera when I kick and not the screen, which is really disconcerting. It's because I didn't set up properly. So when we kick, knee up, snap, back down. 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 Now, you notice that I'm keeping control of the leg. Yeah, this is me. This is me controlling this. It's important not to kick and let the leg drop. Okay? Bad form. Okay? Not what we're after. We're after controlling the leg. Okay? If we keep control of the leg, we can control how much power we have, how much speed, and our technique in total. So we must make sure that we maintain this control at all time. It's really important. Once you've lost control of the leg, you've lost control of yourself because it's a big part of the body. And you will either hit and damage whatever you're kicking or potentially damage yourself or the worst still, fall over, which is not a good place to be. So when we're kicking maigeri, a couple of things to think about, I've already said, okay, from the high sukadachi, shizentai stance, okay, you're keeping the knee close to the body, not sticking the knee out. So bring the knee up rather than out. Okay, so that stops the body tilting. Then the second thing is the angle of the foot when we need to kick. Now, I said earlier, we don't want to kick with the toes. The sumisakis, which are the tips of your toes, if we kick with those, they break really easily. Okay, so we need to make sure that we keep this position correct. The foot comes out and we're kicking with the ball of the foot. Okay, not the toes, not the toes. And this is really important. We're kicking with the ball of the foot and not the toes. So again, keep it into the body, kick, and back down. And back down. And keep control. Okay? Don't bend anything, just relax. Just let the body weight drop down. And what will happen is you'll maintain your balance much better. Now for juniors, you can use an apparatus. This is called Brian, and Brian is my friend in the dojo, and he's going to help me. So if balance is a problem, okay, you get your trusty chair or stool or whatever it is you're going to use, okay, and the same thing, but now you don't have to worry about your balance. You can now focus more on the kick and coming down. And then eventually, you don't need that piece of apparatus, that helping hand, so you can kick like so. Okay, so Shizentai stance. So this is one of our Kihon techniques from one of our grading syllabuses. Okay, so one of the very first things you do. So if you're grading for 10th or 9th Q, you will do this as part of your grading. Okay, so from the Subadachi, please bow. So remember, Subadachi is a Shizentai stance. Heels together, toes point out. We only use this for bowing. Everything else, we do a different stance. So bring your toes together. So your heels and toes are together. Hai Sukudachi. Okay, still Shizentai, so still a natural stance, but now the feet are together. And what I want you to do with your arms is to let your arms drop. Okay, don't force them out, don't force them up, just let them drop. So let your shoulders drop, let your hara drop, just everything. Don't bend here, okay? Don't just do this. Just let it go. Okay, so you keep your form, your hips just drop down. Okay, and that goes down to the floor. This will help your balance. And this is in particular is good within our syllabus because it helps your baransu. Baransu is your balance, okay? So from this bit here, bringing the knee up, we're going to kick right leg first, Migi Geri, okay? And then Hidari Geri. So we're kicking Mai and then Hidari, both to the front, okay? And alternate legs. So each knee, sun, shi, yo, like the head. Just Chudan Geri. Just Chudan Geri, not too high to start with. Okay, so kicking Mai Geri, each. Ni, san, shi. Keep control of the leg. Go, rok, sich, hach, ko, haichu. Good, good, good. And keep that leg control. I hope this is coming across. It's difficult for me to look at the camera, look at the screen, see if my leg is correct. But for me, it's correct. It's definitely going straight. So that's what I will focus on. Okay, so once more, let the body weight drop down here. Okay, relaxing, kicking each, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, ko, ju, ya, hai, ya. I'm ready. Okay, so now we're going to change the kick. We're going to change to Zenku Sudachi, front stance. Okay, so from this position here, I step forward, get break my each. So we're going to be kicking Maigiri step forward, Maigiri kick forward, step back. Okay, so the hips will drive the kick through to kick straight ahead. Again, stick Chudan, please. Not too high. Make sure this knee stays above this toe. Try not to kick like this. Try not to go over the top too far. Okay, too much pressure on your knee is not natural. You need to make this as natural feeling as possible. Okay, so kicking Maigiri, again, let the hips drop. Choose your focus. Now with your arms, just have them to the sides for a bit of balance to start with. Okay, so kicking Maigiri, each. Hey, come back. And notice, control the leg. So kick Maigiri and come back. Balance. Stay focused. Hands to side, kicking each. And back. Knee. And back. San. Shi. Go. Okay, change legs. And kicking now, each. Knee. 3, 4、5、えや。And yammy. And okay, so to change that kick to Jodan, okay, so changing it from Chudan height to Jodan. Okay, now you're going to try to bring your knee that little bit further up. So this depends upon your flexibility, your own personal ability. My view on this is that the technique needs to be correct. So it doesn't matter if the kick is this high, shin height. Makes no problem. You can still hurt someone with my Geri shin height. If you can kick higher, then great. If you can kick higher, great. If you can kick higher, great. If you can kick higher, great. A lot of it is down to where your knee is, okay? So the knee does not flex beyond a certain point. You see this wrist, the takubi, my hand drops down and can almost come up vertically. So this joint is very articulate. My elbow joint stops. It doesn't go beyond the axis point, the jiku point. Here, it doesn't go the other way. The knee is the same. The knee is the same. Here, okay, can't go the other way, not like the wrist. Unless you have double jointed knees. I've never known anybody to have that. If you have, you're very fortunate. So it's important then to understand that the height of the knee will determine the height of the kick. Now, when we start karate and we're quite young and flexible, if you are young and flexible, okay, then you can kick higher and higher. And certainly when I was younger, I used to swing my leg up and I could kick a door frame above my head comfortably. And Bruce Lee used to do kicking a light bulb. Yeah, I've done that, okay. When I was 20, it was easy. Now I'm 50, it's not so easy. So, but then my brain says, why do I need to kick that high? I don't ever need to kick that high. Okay. If someone's that big, and I have somebody that big in my dojo, you bring them down to your height or smaller, even better. Okay, then kick them. Yes? And there are ways of doing that. I'm sure you can understand. So don't kick too high. Your Jodan is as high as you need to go. Your Chudan is as high as you need to go. And if your height is lower, then that's fine. But don't overdo it. But to kick higher, your knee must be higher. Okay, so if your knee's here, it can only kick that high. If your knee's here, you kick that high. Knees here, kick higher. Okay, that's the way the brain has to think, because the knee does not articulate like this. So, kicking my Geri Jodan, again, not too high, knee up, kick, and back down. Knee up, kick, and back down. And this should be in line with your own chin, okay, and the ball of the foot, as if it was hitting the chin. So, hands aside again for balance. This is good for practice. Each and down. Knee and down. 3 and down. Sheep. Height down. Height one more ki. Go. Yeah. Good. Change legs. Remember, don't go too high. Don't go too high. I'll change the angle for you. Don't need to swing up here. What's chin height? Your chin height, yeah, depends how big you are. So Dexter, you're this height. Jonathan, you are this height. Okay, so it's important to go to your level. Your level. So again, hands to side, ready for kicking. And your knee needs to come higher to kick Jodan, but only go to your Jodan height. Each knee, 3, 4, go, air, and back, and yamai. Hey, I'm ready. Relax, anyway. Okay, so hope you understand this from this evening's lesson. It's all about control over the leg as a limb. Okay, it's a huge part of our body weight. So I weigh 14.5 stone. Okay, so think of how much of my body weight is in one leg. Okay, I reckon if you took maybe both legs, you're easily looking at a third of my body weight, possibly more. Yeah, because the torso is a pretty big chunk and the head is much heavier than people think it is. Okay, the arms are strong, big limbs, but not so heavy. These big bones, yeah, you have your femur, you have your tibia and your fibula. Okay, I've seen my tibia. It's not very pretty because that's when I broke my leg. Mine's big. It's a big bone. This is even bigger. So we have to understand that we need to make sure that we keep control of this element, okay, to make life easier for ourselves. If we're able to control it, then we're able to make it go faster. If we're able to make it faster, we get more power, more power. The speed equals power. No point in doing any of that unless we have control of it. Okay. Footballer take a big swing up for a penalty, bang! Yeah, scores a goal. Not if he's English, but there you go. Swings a leg, scores a goal. Brilliant. But how much control on that leg do they have after it's hit the ball? And how much energy is wasted? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. I'm not saying for a second that people should take penalties the same as do kick karates with the football, but we get more power through the leg because we're connecting it to the body, not just the leg. We're not swinging the leg. The reason we bring it up to the here and kick out from there is to keep control and bring more power to the kick. Okay, so we're now going to kick forwards, Mae Geri. So, right, yoi, and step forward, Gidambarai, each. Okay, so now you're going to kick forwards with control, just Chudan Geri. So, each, yeah. Okay, then Mawate turn, rotate. And kick back, Jodan, each. Mawate turn. So this time, kick same legs, kicking with the right leg still, so Migi Geri. Okay, right leg Jodan, each. Mawate turn. And Migi Geri Chudan, ish. And Mawate turn. Okay, change legs. Mae Geri Chudan, left leg, Hidari Geri, each. Mawate turn. Mae Geri Jodan, just with the left foot, Mawate turn. Back to the front this time, Mae Geri Jodan, each. Controlled, Mawate turn, Mae Geri Chudan, controlled. Mawate turn, hey yame. And ready, os. Hey, yoi, back to Shizentai. Hey, and relax. So Mae Geri is a kick. Mae Geri is a kick from a basic position. We can kick off the back leg. Yeah, we can kick off the front leg. We can do either of those two things from a basic position, from a kata position, and from a kumite position as well. Things that don't change. The knee, the use of the hip, kicking koshi, ball of foot, Mae Geri Kiyaki. They're the three things that stay in common. Us, Holly-san. She's going to want to go out in a second, so get ready for the bark. Oh no, we're going to play silly things. Brilliant. So, kicking Mae Geri, each, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, ko, jo. Hey, change legs. So a little bit of work on your balance, supporting leg, sit down. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, ko, jo. Ball of the foot, remember, ball of the foot. Hand step back, hey, yame. And ready. Hey, and inoi. Hey, relax. Okay, that's enough Mae Geris, I think. So now, let's move on to let's move on to Mawashi Geri. Okay, so Mawashi Geri. We'll do Kiyagi Kikomi probably Thursday. So I'd like to show the differences of those together. I like to practice those together so that makes some head sense. So now we'll do Mawashi Geri. So Mawashi Geri, Mawashi literally means roundhouse. Okay, roundhouse. Now, for those of you that were brought up around boxing, you'll have heard of the roundhouse punch. Okay, and literally what it means a swinging arm. In English, we call that the haymaker. The haymaker is the really big punch where they just bring their arm round, let it go, and hope for the best. Hope for the best. It's not very glamorous, okay, but if it hits, it's generally pretty good because we've got this rotation. Okay, now in karate with a kick, we're using this rotation from the hip. Okay, and our jiku, our axis point, that's what we're pivoting around. That's what we're pivoting around. Okay, so just going to get another implement to help me out here. What's this? This looks good. Perfect. The pencil. Okay, so if we spin the pencil in the fingers, try and bring this close enough, spin it. We're spinning it on its axis point. Okay, our hips, you need to think of them the same thing. And all you do is attach a piece of wire across here, okay? And then you've got your hip line. And if we twist the pencil, imagine that this drops down through the belt here, and our hips twist around that part. Okay, so you really have to relax this part of the body to understand this. This is not the legs twisting, okay, they twist a bit. This is the hips. So you try to isolate the legs and upper body and just move the hips. So we are going to rotate this kick around. Okay, so we're going to rotate around this Jiku axis point here. Now it's not easy. It's not easy, but not impossible. And I think the best way to teach this is low down, so starting low, and possibly using the chair. Okay, so for people who struggle with their balance in particular, then this might make more sense. So from the starting position, from the Shizentai position of Haisukudachi, okay, you want to be bringing your knee up, similar to before. This is not where this kick comes from. This kick comes from the side. Okay, so it comes around. So if this chair is here, and I kick my Geri, I kick the chair. Mawashi Geri, I kick around the chair. So it comes around. And that's the difference really between this one. So if you think of blocking a Mai Geri, okay, so Mai Geri here, a Kidambarai is a good block to block a Mai Geri because it's straight, comes straight here. Mawashi Geri will be one of two levels potentially, Chudan or Jodan. Okay, so if the person has got their right leg forward and kicking left leg, the kick is coming around this way. If they've changed legs, the kick is going to come this way. So whichever way the kick's coming, so if it comes this way and it's Jodan, we have to move to the side to parry, to cross block, whatever. Okay, because the kick is coming around. Agyuki would not be a good block for Mawashi Geri. Excuse me. That's right. That's right. So Mawashi Geri would not be, Agyuki would not be a good block for Mawashi Geri. Possibly with the elbow being up. It may be. I've seen it done, but it's not great. So it's important then that we understand that this kick is not going to come straight at us, it's coming around. Okay. Now there are variations of Mawashi Geri, and we're going to work on Koshi. So again, we're kicking with the ball of the foot. Okay, just that part there. And we're intending on kicking Chudan, and then we're building to Jodan. Okay, so how does this work best? Difficult to do in Shizentai, okay, because the knee needs to come around here. But if we think of this back foot as the supporting leg, okay, we need to let the weight again sink down. We need to try not to be tilted too much, okay? We need to keep our body as upright as possible. Now, again, age, ability, disability makes a big difference here. Best thing to do is start low, work your way up, don't go too far too soon, etc. If you're carrying any injuries, whether it be your knees, your legs, your back, anything, you need to be mindful of all of this. This is a kick that puts a lot of stress on the body. Okay, if done incorrectly, it can cause more stress, definitely. So the knee comes up from the side, okay, and then this foot is really important because this foot is going to pivot. Okay. And you essentially want to watch where your knee goes. So from here, your knee comes here. Your kick is going to land where the knee is. Okay. So when we punch, if you punch with your elbow, your punch lands true with where your elbow is going. Okay, because they're joined. Okay. Matsuda Sensei always said to me, punch with your elbow. As if you're punching with your elbow, then your fist will follow where it should be going, straight line. So it's a concept that some have to think about. but makes sense if you get it right. So wherever the knee goes, the foot goes. Okay, same angle. We're trying to bring the foot round in a horizontal position so that the ball of the foot has most power. Okay, if the foot is going at this angle, 45 degrees, or worse still, it essentially becomes a roundhouse Geri. No power. There's no power in it at all. And that's the key thing here, is too many people go too high too soon, and so they overkick, okay? Their foot goes at the wrong angle, and they're just scuffing. So if they actually hit anything, they wouldn't cause any damage at all. They just bounce off and fall over. Okay, I've seen that done lots. I've done it myself. So important to keep it lower and stronger, correct, than doing it badly. Okay. So as I say, from here, from Shizentai stance, it is particularly difficult. So we're going to step back, front stance. So yoi. Okay, and doesn't matter which leg you're going to use. Probably your favourite leg to start with, because it's better to practice on your best leg, because it builds your confidence. I think if you start with the worst one, sometimes you can just get a little bit stuck in a rut. So stepping back and right, each. Okay, hands to side, ready for kicking. So the body position that we want to be in, as much as possible, as this knee comes up, we want to keep this body upright as much as possible. Okay, it's not possible to keep this dead upright unless you're super flexible, which I'm not. Okay, and I'd say I'm quite inflexible now. I used to be more flexible when I was younger, but not so much now. Too many injuries, I think. So bring the leg up, pivot round, and kick. Okay, so we're going to start much lower than that. So from Zenkutsudachi position, bring the knee up, bring it round, ball of the foot, and back. Control. So it's difficult to do it in stages, this kick. So 1, 2, and back. Excuse me. So it's a much more natural kick. Stay there. Don't move. Sit. Sit. Good girl. You stay. Good girl. So more fluid come round. It's a much easier kick to just let go rather than try to stop halfway, particularly on my floor because I'm just stuck to it. So, ball of the foot. Keep this as natural as possible, okay? Bring your hip back, come round. Ball of the foot. Okay, so we're going to kick Mawashi Geri and step forward front stance. So, hands to side, keep your balance, come round, kick, and down. And step back. Okay, good girl. And knee, and back. Step back. Okay, so kick forwards, come back, kick forward, step back. Also alternate. This teaches you how to control the limb a little bit better. So, turning, Mawashi Geri. Okay, bring hip back as you rotate through. Pivot, ball of the foot. Now, in terms of how much you pivot, is dependent upon your flexibility in the hip area and the rest of your body. So most people will go past 90 degrees. So from here, this is 90 degrees. And some people will go almost 180 to bring the leg round. I think if you go too far around, you overcomplicate things, and also you lose balance. So just be mindful of that. But you need to pivot as much as you need to pivot, and only you can tell that. I can't see you tonight to unfortunately be able to correct or suggest other things. Okay, so we're going to kick Chudan, step forward and down, each. And step back, get and right. And this time kick each and back. Okay, so kick, step forward and step down. And kick, and back, and yummy. Change legs. Okay, so if you have a weaker side, generally, unfortunately, this is where you kind of come undone. This is where things start to go wrong. So, ever since I've had all my leg surgery, but even before that, this is my weak side. But why? Okay, why? And that's a question I ask myself every time I do a Mawashi Geri. Why does it not feel as natural as the left side? Well, I'm left-handed and I'm left-sided predominantly. So why does the right not work? And what you have to do, you have to drill down. Is it the pivot? Is it the hip movement? Is it the knee and the body position itself? Yeah, am I fighting something upper body that is maybe stopping me from kicking sort of more effectively? And these are questions that you will keep asking. I've been asking this question for 30 years. Why is my Mawashi Geri on the right side a bit pants? Well, I still haven't found the answer, but it definitely isn't as good. So again, we're going to work on Chudan level. Okay, so our rotation, I bring the hip back, bring the hip to the side, and come around. And step down. Step back, kick, hip rotation, and back. Not as comfortable, doesn't feel right, doesn't flow. Okay, so again, thinking, questioning, why? Why do we not do this? Why is this not correct? Too much leaning back. Step back this time. Better. Felt better as well. Have to analyse. You have to analyse everything. Okay. It's really important to see your failings in karate and see them as learning opportunities. So I can kick left legged all the time, and if I'm showing off, I do. But when we're teaching, we have to be honest with ourselves and our students. Okay, so my right side needs work. So we practice more on the right side. So it's important then to kick Mawashi Geri step down. So each step down, come back, and Mawashi Geri kick, and come back. So that second technique is easier for me. It feels a bit better, okay, less stressful. So we need to then think, why is the front one more stressful? What's going wrong? What's not happening that should be happening? Kick again, each. And kicking back, each. Okay, change legs. So now kicking higher. Okay, and the dangers of, even with Maigiri, yeah, the dangers of kicking high. Human beings are designed to stand up. Okay, I'm 6'1". As soon as I start to go past this hip line though, I start to put stress on the body and also start to make myself more vulnerable. If I kick here, Chudan, whether it be Mawashi Geri or Maigiri, I have more control than stretching higher because of the stress it puts on the rest of my body. So whilst Jodan kicks look really good and super exciting, and when I used to do them in competitions, they used to always get the big gasps and the points actually, they used to get the big points, they're not actually reality, they're not effective, okay? Because you have to make sure that you have got your core balance correct, otherwise your kick won't have the power to do what it needs to do. So important then, if you're going to kick Jodan, okay, you need to be a bit more flexible in the hips, but you also need to maintain control of the leg and watch the creeping vertical. Okay, so I always start off nice and low, just to warm up. Okay, and then just gradually get a bit higher. So now I'm reaching my Jodan comfortably. Yeah, so don't start too high too soon. Better to do a nice low kick and then come up slowly. Try not to lean too much, okay? I know I can feel like I'm leaning now as my legs get more tired. But again, you can use the chair to practice your kick. Yeah, bring the leg out. Try and straighten the body out more. Watch the pivoting foot, kick, back down. What the chair does is take away the fear of balance, losing your balance. Okay, so I think that fear sometimes takes over, and so therefore we hold back on the kick. This kick is done best when it's let go. Okay, let go to a point, but you still have to have control on it. So sometimes the chair is a really good tool, apparatus, friend, buddy to have in the dojo with you, just to practice. Here. Yeah, so I'm kicking well above my Jodan with this, funny enough. It's given me confidence. Hopefully that comes across okay. Good good to have, good to practice with. My old, my very first dojo, we used to have a ballerina's bar fixed to the wall, which we were able to hold on to. And Sensei used to make us, we had brick wall, and Sensei made us kick all the bricks. Gradually getting higher and higher. And it used to be that I could kick 6'7" really easily. Now, I like the lower bricks. Lower bricks are more my level, more comfortable, I think. And I'm sure I kick them harder than I used to back then. So you can use this as a tool to help you with your kicks. But it can't stay there forever. Good to have a partner. Sometimes we're in the dojo and we don't have coronavirus, we can hold arms, okay, and hands, and we can practice our Mawashi Geri by using the other person as a balancing tool, okay, or as a guide to where we should be kicking in terms of height, etc. Okay, so us. Yoi. Okay, so step back, Gidan Barai, right leg, ich. Okay, so kicking forwards, Mai Geri, ich, and step back. Kicking forwards, Mai Geri Jordan, ish, yeah, and step back. Change legs. Kicking forwards, Mai Geri Chudan, ich, and back. And kicking forwards, Mai Geri Jordan, ish, and back. Okay, change legs. Kicking forwards, Mawashi Geri Chudan, ich, and step back. And kicking forwards, Mawashi Geri Jordan, ish, and back. Change legs. Kicking forwards, Mawashi Geri Chudan, ish, and stepping back. Sorry, I didn't step down then. Kicking forwards, Mawashi Geri Chudan, and step back. And kicking forwards, Mawashi Geri Jordan, and back. And yamai, kyotsuke, and me. Hey. Okay, so kicks put quite an amount of stress on the body. I've certainly found, I've had, as my students know, significant lower leg injuries. Okay, so shattered my left leg, which has lots of metal work, metal rods and plates and everything in it, where I broke it very badly in my late 20s in a competition. Okay, very unfortunate. And then my knee, right knee, 3 knee surgeries, including half a knee replacement. So what happened there really was stress on the body from someone else, yeah, stress on this particular joint, doing kicks probably incorrectly, okay, probably doing stances incorrectly for many, many years, or just being unlucky. But remember what I said earlier, I am very much left-sided, particularly with my kicks. And I used to fight a lot. I used to kumite. Kumite for me was something I did every weekend for a bit of fun. The non-serious part of my karate, and I used to compete a lot and really, really enjoy it. And I was a kicker, so I kicked a lot with this left side. So this joint took all the stress of those Mawashi Geris, those Gyaku Mawashi Geris, those Yoshira Geris, those Mai Geris, those Kiyagi Geris, the Kokomi Geris. That joint took all that stress. This one was just unfortunate and an accident, but that's the thing. They take a lot of stress, okay, because they carry the rest of the body's weight. So you've got to really be thinking when you're kicking, where are you kicking to, okay, and how do you want to get there to protect yourself first. No good kicking really, really high and hard if you're going to tear a muscle, if you're going to lose your form afterwards. So in other words, if you miss your target and you go splat, it's no good. So I think being older now, I've had a lot of 30 years of thinking about how I kick, okay? And I'm realizing, as many senseis do, that the big Jodan kicks, which look amazing and great as a junior or in your early 20s, are not so great when we get a bit older. And that's not the higher grades making excuses, it's just making understanding that you're keeping it closer to your body, therefore you have more power because you're able to put more of the body into it. As soon as you start throwing limbs out there, they start to lose power. Keeping them in keeps them stronger. Works with our blocks. We don't block like that, we block like this. Makes it stronger, keep it closer, yeah? Draw everything into the body. You can use the whole body then power to support what you're doing. Okay, so Thursday then we're going to do Kiyagi Geri and Kikomi Geri. Okay, and we'll do Yoku Geri Kiyagi, Yoku Geri Kikomi. And I really love this lesson, but I really like having people with me to do it. But what we're going to do is we're going to show you the difference between the two. Okay, and a slight variation for Kiyagi, which I was taught in Japan first time I went in 2004 by Suzuki Sensei, actually, of all people. He is one of the Hombu instructors there, and he taught me a slightly different Yoko Geri Kiyagi, which I really like. It suited me. And maybe it did, because he was teaching the Westerners actually that kick that night. So maybe it does, maybe he thinks it suits our bodies better, I don't know. But anyway, we'll do that on Thursday. So we'll finish this lesson as normal. So please turn and face away, straighten the geese ladies. Hopefully you're nice and warm like I am, apart from my feet, which are freezing, but I've got a good sweat on otherwise. Okay, Kiyotsuke. Hey, os. Dojo-kun. Hitotsu, junkan goukansei ni suramato koto. Hitotsu, makato no michi o umoru koto. Hitotsu, doryoku no seishin o yashinau koto. Hitotsu, regyo o monju o koto. Hitotsu, keki no yo imashimuru koto. Show me, right? Sensei, right? Os. Os. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you as always for joining me, and it's been good fun, if a little bit difficult in terms of the legs and the physical side of it. Thank you so much. I think I said hello to everybody. And thank you very much, gentlemen. Goodbye, and I will see you on Thursday. Look forward to it, and we'll finish the lesson there. So, rei os oyasumasai arigatou gozaimasu. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. See you Thursday. Jamatane. Hey.